I'll have the full forecast in just a minute.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Kevin. The freezing temps, especially concerning for some Utah homes. When it gets and stays this cold out there, there could be a pipe problem. News specialist Jed Bold joined us live right now with some helpful advice to prevent a potential catastrophe here. Jed?
Yeah, exactly, Mike. You know, when it's this cold outside, about 12 degrees right now, I don't know why it jumped right there, then we need to be careful that the pipes inside our homes are not exposed to that frigid air, or they could freeze and then burst. Dwayne Nielsen is a plumbing manager at Any Hour Services and has helped people with frozen pipes for more than 4 decades. He tells me when the temperatures drop below 20 and stay there, there's a danger of frozen pipes in some homes in some neighborhoods. If your pipes are not buried deep enough, or they are exposed to cold air in a crawl space or under a sink near a window, the risk of freezing rises. If your pipes are susceptible to freezing, or you don't know whether they are, you might want to keep the water moving slightly. If water freezes in the pipe and expands, it can crack the pipe.
One of the best things you can do is just open up a faucet on your home to a trickle, and it'll allow the water to kind of flow through and keep going and not have a cold spot where it gets really, really cold.
He calls that the drip before the drizzle. The water will not have a chance to ice up and freeze in the pipe if you do that. Nielsen says he called his mom this morning to remind her of that very same thing. If your kitchen sink is on an outside wall that looks out a window, those pipes could be susceptible up against the wall. He says in general, however, newer homes are not quite as susceptible. Coming up at 6 o'clock, I'll tell you why Nielsen is also concerned about moisture that has settled into the soil over the last couple of months. For Live at 5, I'm Jed Bold.
Good information there, Jed. Thank you. As this bitter cold digs in.
Will they go tonight and how long it sticks around?
Frozen pipes could be a problem for some homes in Utah this week. A plumber shares his advice straight ahead.
And bringing diversity to the slopes.
I never thought I'd be able to snowboard or ski in my life.
See the organization that's giving the gift of skiing.
KSL News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Drifting snow coupled with dropping temperatures has created dangerous conditions across the state. The severe cold is a big concern tonight. Try to wrap your heads around this. Peter Sinks in Cache County this morning, 62 degrees below zero.
I'm trying to wrap. I'm not sure I can. That was the coldest temperature recorded all across the country today. And we're going to see another round of extreme cold temps this evening. We have team coverage for you. On the severe cold snap, Jed Bull is looking at ways that we can avoid costly mistakes while we're trying to stay warm.
But first, Kevin, we're talking dangerously cold wind chill temperatures possible over this night.
That's right. Dangerously cold temperatures regardless of wind chill. Just the air temperature tonight is one snowstorm arrive. I'll have all that for you in the 7-day in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Kevin, thanks. When it gets this cold and stays cold, water pipes in some homes are susceptible to freezing. And that can be a costly problem, especially if the ice cracks a pipe. News specialist Jed Bull got some helpful advice from a plumber who's concerned about the low of those low temperatures. Jed.
Yeah, exactly, Deanie. When the temperature is this cold outside, about 6 degrees right now, we need to make sure that the pipes inside our homes are not susceptible to that bitter cold air, or they could freeze and then burst. There's also a concern right now about how low the frost is going in the ground.
Anytime it drops below 20, we start getting phone calls of frozen pipes. Hey, I don't have water to all of my house, part of my house.
Dwayne Nielsen is a plumbing manager at Any Hour Services and has helped people with frozen pipes for more than 4 decades. If your pipes are not buried deep enough, or they are exposed to cold air in a crawl space or under a sink by a window, the risk of freezing rises. If your pipes are susceptible to freezing, or you don't know whether they are, you might want to keep the water moving slightly.
One of the best things you can do is just open up a faucet on your home to a trickle, and it'll allow the water to kind of flow through and keep going and not have a cold spot where it gets really, really cold.
If water freezes in the pipe and expands, it can crack the pipe.
We call it the drip just before a drizzle. And so we want to just leave it Just about like that.
Nielsen is also concerned that moisture, which soaked into the ground, might cause some pipes to freeze.
We had a lot of moisture in the last month, and it's soaked down into the ground, and not a lot of snow cover. That snow cover creates a blanket which insulates the ground, keeps it a little warmer.
That moisture in the ground could push the frost line deeper.
It could drive that frost line down and get our pipes coming in from the meter a little bit colder, a little colder, and maybe have some issues.
If you end up with a frozen pipe and you're able to isolate where that freeze is, you can use a hair dryer to warm that up and loosen up that ice, but never use a blowtorch on frozen pipes. That could lead to a very serious accident. Guys?
Yeah, hair blower sounds much safer. That's a good solution, Jed. Thanks.
As we face this harsh weather.